Chapter 1. Dead. The town of Harlow Creek, West Virginia, had a way of keeping secrets. Nestled between two ridge lines so steep that sunlight only touched the valley floor for 6 hours a day, it was the kind of place where the internet came late, cell coverage came later, and strangers were noticed the moment their car crossed the iron bridge on Route 9. Population? 1847. The sign had said 2,103 once. Nobody had bothered to update it since the mill closed. Mara Voss wasn't a stranger. Not exactly. She'd been born here, spent her first 12 years here before her mother packed 2 suitcases and drove them both to Columbus without looking back. Now Mara was 34, a field technician for a rural broadband infrastructure company called Bridgelink Solutions, and the assignment that landed on her desk on a Tuesday morning in October read, "Slow, flat. Harlow Creek Relay Tower. No contact for 11 days. On-site inspection required." 11 days of dead air, no data, no diagnostic pings, no automated status reports. The tower was solar-powered, with battery backup. It shouldn't have gone dark. Her supervisor, Dennis, had shrugged it off as equipment failure. "Probably a firmware crash," he said, already moving on to his coffee. "Take your kit, reboot the router stack, be back by Friday." Mara agreed, and if she felt something twist behind her sternum as she loaded her truck, something cold and cautionary she couldn't name, she ignored it. She was a professional. She drove 9 hours west and south, watching the landscape thicken and close, the hills darkening from amber to umber to something almost black. She crossed the iron bridge at 6:14 p.m. The river below was low and gray. The town spread out before her, and she realized with a slow creeping unease that she had expected lights, the warm orange glow of a small American town at dusk, and there were almost. Chapter 2. The People Who Remained. The motel was called the Ridgeline Inn, and it was open, barely. A man named Earl Pruitt sat behind the desk in a folding chair, watching a portable television with the volume turned all the way down. He was perhaps 65, wearing a flannel shirt the color of dried leaves, and he did not look up when the bell above the door jangled. "Room?" Mara said, more a statement than a question. "7," Earl said, sliding a key across the counter without looking at her. "Cash or card?" "Card." She set it on the desk. He stared at the card for a moment, then at her. His eyes were peculiar, not unfriendly, but hollow, the way eyes look when the person behind them has been thinking the same thought for a long time and can't stop. "You're here for the tower," he said. "That's right." "Long drive." He ran the card, handed it back. "Don't go up there at night." "The tower's 3 miles out of town. I wasn't planning to hike in the dark." "Good." He went back to his silent television. There appeared to be a weather forecast, but the meteorologist was standing at a blank map, moving her hands over it anyway, pointing to nothing. Mara found the diner still open, barely. A woman named Dottie ran it with the mechanical efficiency of someone who cooked not from joy, but from necessity. 2 other customers sat in separate booths, not eating, staring at the table. The coffee was burnt and perfect, and Mara drank 2 cups. She asked Dottie about the tower. "Folks went up to check on it," Dottie said, refilling without being asked. "That was..." She paused, wiping the counter in slow circles that went nowhere. 2 weeks ago now. They didn't come back with anything useful to say." "Meaning they found nothing wrong?" "Meaning they didn't come back," Dottie said flatly, and walked into the kitchen. Mara sat with that for a long moment. She pulled out her satellite phone and called Dennis. The call connected, crackled, and then something happened to it. A sound beneath his voice, like an enormous breath being slowly let out. A subsonic vibration that she felt more in her jaw than her ears. She said his name twice, got static back, and hung up. She told herself it was the mountains. She told herself a lot of things that night in room 7 while she stared at the water-stained ceiling and listened to the absolute silence outside, the kind of silence that isn't peaceful, but waiting. Chapter 3. Up the Mountain. Morning came reluctantly, the sun dragging itself above the eastern ridge like something wounded. The BridgeLink relay station sat on a cleared half-acre at 2,400 feet elevation, a standard installation, a 60-foot lattice tower, a small weatherproof equipment cabinet at the base. She'd serviced dozens like this. She parked, pulled on her hard hat and tool vest, and walked towards the cabinet. She stopped, 20 feet away. The ground around the base of the tower, about a 30-foot radius, was perfectly dead. Not dead like drought or herbicide, dead like the earth itself had been switched off. No grass, no weeds, no lichen on the rocks, no insects. The soil was gray and fine like cremation ash, and when she crouched and touched it, it was cold in a way that didn't match the October air. It was the cold of a deep, lightless place. She ran diagnostics. The hardware was perfectly fine. Power cell at 92%, all components nominal, the router stack booted clean. And yet, no signal. The tower was transmitting, she could confirm that locally, but the signal was going nowhere. Or rather, it was going somewhere that wasn't the network. Every packet she sent out came back wrong. Corrupted, not randomly, the way hardware failure produces corruption, but systematically, like something was intercepting the transmission and returning it with changes, small changes, letters transposed, numbers shifted. Like a reply. She sat on the tailgate of her truck, laptop open, and stared at the corrupted data logs for a long time. It took 40 minutes. When the pattern resolved, she closed the laptop and sat in the silence of the mountain and breathed. Slow, robotic, like reading a transmission. We have been here, before your roads. We learned your language from your broadcasts. We have been answering for 11 years. You have only now learned to listen. Do not come back at night. She drove back down the mountain and sat in the motel parking lot for a long time with the engine running.